Hey everybody, welcome back to Scribbles with Jonathan. In this episode, right in the beginning here, I just wanted to do a quick steps overlay that we will be tackling as I get into this. The main reason is it's a little bit of a different workflow for me, and I'll talk about why I have started to do this workflow over the last couple of days, actually, when we get into the inking. But there's going to be 3 steps that we're going to address in the video. The first step is going to be the digital rough stage. And then we're going to show a scanned image of the quotes here, tight pencils, and then we're going to get into what we normally do, inking in Manga Studio in the 3rd step. So let's get this video started. Okay, so first step, like we said, was the digital roughs, and the main reason why I stick to digital, regardless of once we get into the pencil stage and the next stage, so you can see that, is the amount of flexibility that I personally feel that I have when I do this sort of thing. At any moment, at any thumbnail that I like, I can literally just copy and paste, transform, distort, scale. I got all kinds of, quick tools that are available to me that I can, adjust even a thumbnail. So that's why I like to personally stick with digital. One thing I do want to point out right away is the method that I'm using right now. The roughs that you'll see that I get to sometimes are a little bit rougher than even this, and I leave a little bit more up to the actual pencil stage. But what I'm trying to get across here is I'm just doing some thumbnails to get an idea of Thanos, a really cool Marvel character, villain, that I wanted to draw. And right away, that last image, I thought it'd be a little bit more simple. It still shows what I needed to show, the power of Thanos in a way, like he's got that gauntlet in your face. But so all I did was just copy that thumbnail, paste it in a new layer, and throw in some quick, tight line work over top of it. Nothing drastic. I'm going to say that for the pencils. But just enough information here so that I'm not spending unneeded time in the pencil stage to figure some of this stuff out. What I quickly do again, because I'm doing digital, right, I just copy that arm and paste it. It's a quick cheat. It does exactly what I need it to do, and it saves me a lot of time from erasing. So we're going to be wrapping up this stage pretty quick here. And what I do is once I have the final image here, I set it to about 75% opacity, maybe 15%, and just print it out on a regular black and white printer. Okay, now that we have them all printed out, he's got all these rainbow colors on him. What is going on? Unfortunately, you're just going to be looking at a static image. I'll move it around, give it a little bit something so you can breathe and look around at the whole image. But in future videos, what I plan on doing is setting up a camera so we can actually go through all these stages with you guys. So that, take away the curtain, just so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about when I'm doing this stuff. Now, this method here, you can kind of see it and kind of not. I mean, it depends on the resolution of YouTube and wherever else you're watching this. But like I said, once I had the tight image, all I did was print it out. I'm talking a literal, what kind of printer do I have? It's, I forget, not inkjet, but it's the other toner. That's it. It's on toner. It's just black and white. There's no blue ink. I'm trying to work off of like bare minimum tools here, okay? I'm trying to keep it so that everybody can kind of think and work in this kind of workflow as well. So once I have a black and white image that you guys saw, the literal image that I ended up with, I just printed it out, probably about 50% opacity than it really was, so it's a really light gray. Print that sucker out, and then I grab a darker pencil. Normally when I would do just pencils for client work, I would use a 2H lead. Now in this case, the 2H lead is too light. It starts to blend way too much with the Photoshop pencils that I did. So what I use is just your good old-fashioned 2B pencil. It's got a nice thick black to it, really dark, it's really rich, and it's smooth. Really good stuff, okay? However, I do use a 2H as well every now and then, just for certain areas that need a little bit of light working up, like building up form. And again, I will show this in future videos for you guys, because I realize I'm speaking in just vague terms, and unless you guys can see it outside of looking at a stale image, it's pretty tough. But as you can see, these are, again, tight lines. There's still a lot of guesswork going on, but it's enough information for me to take it to inks, okay? And the next question you guys might be asking is, why is there color? And if you can't see right away, I usually work with 3 colors as well, especially in this kind of stuff, is green, blue, and red. You can pick whatever colors you like if you want to do this. So with my pencils, I'll usually hammer in specific details, mostly just anatomy. then I'll just grab a certain color and have that be like your costume. So with superheroes, you could use red, in this case, like Thanos' gauntlets, some of his neck brace there, and then I got a blue for his little like triangle armor things, and then the green for, I was kind of working in some shadows as well. You can do all kinds of things. You could basically think of it like working in Photoshop where you're working in layers. Okay? And the beauty of doing all this stuff is if you do screw it up at any stage, you can just reprint it out. And if you don't have access to a light box because maybe you don't have the money or whatever, that's cool. Hopefully you just try to do this when the sun's out and you can grab a piece of paper, stick it right onto the window, and draw from there. So enough of this. We're going to get on to the inks. Might be a little bit longer. I'm going to try to condense it for you guys, but I'm going to talk about why I've been doing this and all that sort of stuff. So let's get to the inks. And here we go with the inks, everybody. Again, back in Manga Studio to get real dirty with the inks. And this was sped up. I don't even know. I think all said and done, like from literal start to finish of this entire image, 2.5 hours, okay? So this has been condensed in about like 4 or 5 minutes, so it's going to go real crazy. And like usual, you can check out the final image on my DeviantArt. I'll leave a link at the bottom as well. And anyway, so the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. I realize it's going way too fast for some of these details to get picked up, so I apologize for that. But you guys can watch my other videos and stuff like that where I take this a little slower. Anyway, why? Why am I trying this as opposed to just working 100% digital like I always have and all that cool stuff? Well, recently, over the last couple months anyway now, I have been very fortunate to get a new day job. And I work at a video game company, which is, you know, I'm sure many of us out there would just be like, oh, dream job, right? And I'm not saying it's not. The problem that I have, unfortunately now, and this is, you know, it's one of those art-related problems. It's not necessarily like something that you'd share with your friends and stuff like that about like, oh, I slave at my job, you know. But it's, I'm staring at computers all day. I'm hired to do artwork, so I'm staring and making artwork all day in Photoshop. Again, ooh, what a horrible problem to have. And it's not. It's I'm very fortunate and I'm grateful. However, when it comes time to come home to draw, to do comics or do this stuff, it's digital, right? Before I had this job, I worked retail jobs. I worked at a dollar store and I worked at a video game store, and that was retail, right? I talked to people, you know, you're on your feet, all that kind of stuff. So when I came home to relax, I could sit down at the computer and do all that kind of stuff when I could get the motivation to do so. So the main reason I wanted to do this video is, again, to show this process that, you know, it's probably not new to a lot of people, but some people may not have thought of it, and that's cool. But I know if I have a problem or something, I'm sure there's other people that have a similar problem, and I encourage you guys to do the same, where it's like, you know, share that information and stuff, because we're all trying to make comics, you know, and the big problem that I was having is it's difficult to sit down to do this digital work. So how can I have a happy medium? And I'm staring at screens all day, and it's starting to really, you know, part of my friendship, but piss me off. It's giving me headaches and stuff and whatever. So how I quickly worked it is, you know, especially in comics or in this kind of case, you know, pinups, I have digital roughs already done, and the roughs are basically what you saw right with the Thanos in the beginning. Maybe a little tighter, maybe a little bit. And all I'm doing is just printing it out on regular pieces of paper, chopping up little panels that I already have in that comic page and printing it out. And you can lightbox it if you want, or like I said, what I'm doing, just real small opacity or light opacity, sorry, and then bust out those pencils. The pencils don't take that long, at least for me. They don't take that long. And now I'm able to work in bulk, so that on my weekends or days that I have, you know, a little bit easier time at work and I haven't been working on the computer too much, I come home, I can sit down, I'm still energized, I'm fresh to hammer out the inks. So all said and done, that's generally why I've been doing this method. And it's, you know, it's kind of energizing and refreshing because I get to sit back at the art desk, or not the art desk, sorry, the easel. It's not even what am I talking? A drafting table. Drafting table. Turn on the lights, you know, and just kind of work old school to me, you know, like the old school way that I used to draw comics. I'm sure a lot of you guys and girls out there, that's probably how you do it. If you're not doing this on a kitchen table or something, you know, just do what you got to do. So I just wanted to share this again. Maybe you guys could try it out yourself. It might add a little bit of time to your workflow because there's a lot of new elements you haven't been really doing. I understand that. For me, I wouldn't say that it's increased my workflow. I wouldn't say it's decreased how long it takes to do things either. It's about the same. You know, and that's fine for me. Like I said, I'm able to do pages in bulk and then sit down and actually hammer out some inks and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I just, again, I feel like I'm repeating stuff. But yeah, so you guys saw a lot of the inking stuff that I'm doing here, and I'm about to add some text to it. Again, if you wanted to check out the high-res image, click the links below. And I want to say thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you watched the whole video, awesome. Keep reading comics, keep making comics, and we'll talk soon.